really, even while doing dots, you still have to learn, use the shapes and all of the um, techniques, that we've learned already. So now that I've lost my voice, I'm gonna get a drink of coffee here. All right, now that I've got a little bit of my voice back, let's talk about today's chart. We're kind of talked out. That key of B got me. I had to do a little bit of playing um, while I was on pause. So this diagram, it really exemplifies what we've talked about. The most easy to understand and the most useful part of this diagram is probably the one that looks a little more menacing. So what we've got here is a gigantic fretboard diagram, but it's not that bad, because if you look at it, all right, we'll zoom out one little few clicks more. Okay. If you look at it, 3 goes to 3, 6 goes to 6, 2 goes to 2, 5 goes to 5, and 7 goes to 7. So it's really got all 5 builds there. Yes, of course, at any time we could choose any of these as a fretboard. If we want to start from 2 to 2, that would be our fretboard. But then we would have to warp over. We would have to warp over those top 2 strings, wouldn't we? So this is the D fretboard right here. Let's look it over before I unclick it and lock it in. By the way, you can't go backwards until you lock it in anyway, so you might as well click it in. So right there we've got our D fretboard. Now that if this was the fret nut here, if our fret nut was right here in this fretboard that we made, right? So we've got, here's the fretboard and here's the fret nut, right? What note would be down here? Now this is a little more complicated than I thought. Okay, so what do we have? What do we have under 7 over here? We really don't have much in this key. So this is odd, because this is pretty much drawn for the key of C, and this is. So how about we start over again? Okay, we'll go to cursor mode. How about we just start over again and we'll keep it in the key of whatever it is. So we've warped it over already. Okay, so our fretboard is going to be here. Don't worry, I can keep track of this stuff if you guys can't. Okay, now here, this will be a little easier. Okay, these are no play, no string, no play, no string length. The strings are there, but they're just not long enough because they've been cut by the fret nut here. So now we're looking at, if this is your low E, it would be the second. So what key are we looking at now? Oh, it's not the key of C? Wow, how did that happen? Because E is the second of the key of D. So this is actually the key of D. Now if you look at D is right here, 5 root 3. So let me get my fret nut back here. Your fret nut, my capo. Here's our D. This is what we're looking at. Alright, so the open string, these are the open strings. 2, 5, root, 4, 6, 2. Now what are these numbers? These numbers are scale members of the key of D. So the E note's the second of D, the A note's the fifth of D, Okay, the D note's the root of D. The G note's the fourth of D. The B note's the sixth of D, remember? And where were we? The E note's the second of D. So see how you think it's going to be the key of C, but it's not. It's what you make it by the warp. First the fretboard, which six strings are we going to look at in the pattern stack? Then we warp them over, and you add, then you add the, add the fret nut. That matters, because if you put the fret nut over here, then you're looking at a different key, because E would become the third of C, so that would be the key of C. So let's do the key of C. Just show you how it works. So we're going to unwarp it. Well, actually, we don't have to unwarp it, because it's got the same string relationship if we were using that same part of the keyboard. Let's grab something else. Let's start from the 6. All right. So if we just suppose we want to go from the 6 to the 6 in this pattern stack. We're going to use this pattern stack to make a keyboard, right? A fretboard. Now, we don't have a full set of notes here, so let's not put the fret nut there. Let's put the fret nut right here. In this case, I'm just going to make a very, very thin rectangle, which makes a good strong fret nut. But additionally, we have to warp the top 2 strings over. So we're going to warp the whole string